So I'm here in Huntington Beach, California. You can see the water behind me. It's a wonderful view from where I'm at. But I came in on Sunday night in order to attend a leadership summit. And as I was leaving the MacArthur Airport, I had my choice between Uber and Lyft. And ultimately decided I was going to try Lyft because my last experience with Uber, because of the driver, was not a very good experience. There just seemed to be a lot of issues. So I get out my app and ultimately connect with Lyft, and about 10 minutes later I get a call from a number here in California and says, "Hey, where are you?" And it's the Lyft driver. And ultimately I say, "I'm waiting exactly where I'm supposed to be by pillar number 5 at the airport." And she says, "Well, look, you're in arrivals. I need you to come up to departures because I'm not licensed to go down there to arrivals." And I thought, okay. I thought you're supposed to be able to come to the airport. But anyways, I walk upstairs to the departures area, and she calls again and says, "Hey, where are you?" I said, "I'm at the end of the line near valet." And as I'm listening to her, talking to her, this little tiny Hyundai pulls up, and it's this little black Hyundai. The doors are beat in, the car is falling apart, there is rust all over this thing, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's not licensed to be downstairs. Is she really a licensed Uber driver? So I kind of stick my head down through the window and look in, and there's this young lady with these red streaks in her hair and ultimately wearing this tank top that was all torn up and shorts that were all torn up. And I'm thinking, boy, there's really, this is not a good thing. But decided I'm already there. I didn't have a great experience with the last organization, so I'm going to get in. She pops her trunk. I throw my luggage into the trunk, and ultimately I squeeze into the back seat of this little Hyundai because the seat's all the way back, and the car is pretty well filthy. But what was interesting is as we began the conversation and why I'm here and what's going on, she began to tell me about all the problems of her life. It's like I was her shrink or something like that. And I was happy to listen because I'm just fascinated about people. And she goes on to tell about how she used to live in Detroit, where I live, how she moved out here 5 or 6 years ago, ultimately lived closer to LA at one period of time and started driving for both Uber and Lyft and was trying to do them simultaneously and ultimately got caught doing it and had all these additional problems. Is a recovering drug addict, still has some issues with that. And she went on and on and on describing the point of her life, and I just kept listening. And ultimately we got to the beautiful hotel and she dropped me off, and as I'm getting out of this beat up wreck with dents and rust all over the place, everybody's just staring. And I thought, you know what, it's interesting. What we don't take into account sometimes is the problems of other people. And when you relate that back to businesses really don't have problems. What they have are problems of their people. If you can liberate people from the problems that they have, think of how great your business would run. This organization that she worked for didn't spend any time to get to know her, and unfortunately get to know her problems. And although she wasn't the best representation of that organization, if they really understood her, if they really understood the problems she had and did something to try to liberate her from those issues she had in her mind, it could have been a completely different experience. Now, luckily, I wanted to know more about her. I wanted to get that understanding. But all of us need to understand that our companies live and die by our people. The problems of our people are the problems of our companies. And again, I'll say it again, liberate your people from their problems, and you liberate your organization to grow 10x, 20x, 100x times what you're growing